You're watching Taste of Victory.
What's up, guys? Today we got a deck profile for the best deck in Booster Set 10, especially post-ban list, and arguably still going to be the best deck come X3 in a couple of weeks, and that is Weregarurumon. So Weregarurumon, or MetalGarurumon X, is a blue deck that focuses on building up a big hand of 8 or more cards to then be able to swing and attack and unsuspend and do it over and over again with all the pieces in your hand to OTK in one turn. Normally, I have the main boss monster here to show off for you guys so we can see what we are going to be building towards as we go through each level of the deck. And as you see here, instead of MetalGarurumon X, we have Weregarurumon, because really, the deck should be called Weregarurumon X. It's where all the aggression and power of the deck is coming from. We have Promo Weregarurumon. This is going to be the key piece of the deck. It is 7 to play, 3 memory Digivolved into 6,000 DP, and then when attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has a Garurumon Digivolution card, unsuspends Digimon. Inheritable, your turn, while you have 8 or more cards in your hand, this Digimon gains security attack +1. So being in the blue color, you want to use a lot of blue's tools to draw up to a big hand to be able to meet that inheritable effect, and then Digivolve into Weregarurumon X to do unsuspending and extra swings and get an OTK going. So let's go ahead and see how we build up towards that. First up are our eggs. We're only running 4 because we want to see Tsunomon every time. While we have battle protection, we do need a couple of swings before we can get it live to be able to fulfill the OTK in the same turn. And then also, you're not always going to be able to see the protection. And especially in this meta where things are really fast, if you're not seeing it within the first couple of turns, you just have to push the gas and try to brute force it. So we want to make sure we always just see Tsunomon for our egg so we have that DP boost. It is inheritable, your turn. While the Digimon is Garurumon or Omnimon, it gets plus 1000 DP. After that, let's turn on stats so we can see how much we have of every level as we go on. First up, we got Gabumon. This is the one from Booster Set 5. It is 3 to play, 2000 DP, 0 to Digivolve from a level 2, and then on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon card with Garurumon in its name, and 1 Digimon with Omnimon in its name, and then bottom deck the rest. So potentially, this could get you 2 cards to add to your hand, which is great because you need 8 or more cards in hand quickly to get Weregarurumon's inheritable effect off. But mainly, this is a searcher that helps with your consistency, and is also a Gabumon name for Gabumon X that we're about to see. So ModokiBetamon is a classic rookie at this point, introduced all the way back in Booster Set 6. It's 3 to play, 2000 DP, and has the main effect all turns. Your opponent can't gain memory except with Tamer effects. So this blocks opposing Hammer Sparks in the mirror. This blocks Minerva Loop's strategy entirely until they can get the Death Claw into their hands. So this is great for those fringe matchups and also to stop opposing memory boosts on your opponent's side. Then we have Gabumon X. So we want specifically a Gabumon low end to be able to activate this dude here. He is 3 to play, 2000 DP, and then Digivolve 0 from Gabumon and Digivolve 0 from any level 2. On play, or when Digivolving, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with Garurumon or Omnimon in its name, and 1 X Antibody among them to your hand, and then bottom deck the rest. So this is awesome because it searches so many important targets of your deck. Any Garurumon name is really important to make sure we always see the piece we are missing, whether that is Garurumon X, or Weregarurumon, or MetalGarurumon. And then you could also potentially grab 2 cards off of this card as well, with the X Antibody option being one of the targets it can grab. That card is important to the OTKs, so it's fantastic that we can search it with this rookie. Finally, our last rookie is going to be the starter deck Gabumon. It gets you plus 1000 DP on all turns when you have 8 or more cards in your hand. This is really important for decks that run DP minusing removal, because if you're a MetalGarurumon, this will put you 13 on their turn, which makes it just awkward enough for them to be able to remove it. We then move on to our champion level 4 lineup, of which we are only running 10 because we need to fit space for all the other cards in this deck. First up is the BT5-002. This one is when Digivolving, if this Digimon is Gabumon in its Digivolution cards, it gain 1 memory. Otherwise, it would normally Digivolve for 2 over a level 3. It's 5000 DP, and it's inheritable, gives you plus 1000 DP if this Digimon has Garurumon or Omnimon in its name. However, it is the least important out of the package, so we're only going to be running it at 2 just to have another Garurumon name for Garurumon X. Garurumon X Digivolves over a level 3 for 2 memory. It Digivolves from 0 for Garurumon and it has 6000 DP. This is awesome because that does stack at any level, so if you have Gabumon into Gabu X and then you have Garurumon into Garurumon X, that gives you 2 instances of protection if you are Weregarurumon. So this is a powerful card which really helps the consistency of your OTK. And then we have Promo Garurumon. This was all the way back in 1.0 as a box topper. It Digivolves for 2 memory over level 3, 4000 DP, only 4 to Hard Slam, which is really great in situations where you brick. It has the inheritable when attacking. If this Digimon has Garurumon in its name, trigger, draw 1. That is insane. That is incredibly important because you need 8 cards in your hand. So if you're at 7, this thing instantly puts you into the range to be able to get your inheritable effect on Weregarurumon live. So you're always going to want to prioritize this unless you need to Digivolve for 1 to make sure you don't pass turn for whatever reason with the old Garurumon. After that, for our ultimates or our level 5s, we We have Weregarurumon Promo and Weregarurumon X. So we've already discussed how important Weregarurumon is, being the main enabler of the OTK with this Security Tech +1 inheritable, but also we have Weregarurumon X, which goes over Weregarurumon for free, making it really easy to get that Security Tech +1 live early on. There is a tech choice that you could consider running, which is the Sagittarius mode promo from the BT9 box toppers. This card is great because it's also treated as Weregarurumon, so Were X can Digivolve over it and unsuspend for free. It also has the one Digivolving. If you have a Tamer, return up to 2 of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to their owner's hand, which could potentially be really important to get rid of memory floodgates like Tsunomon or Terriermon, as we see the D Brigade is starting to top more. So consider maybe cutting down one Weregarurumon X to put this in. Its inheritable also offers the protection that Garurumon X already does, so that's pretty nice to have in case you missed the Garurumon earlier. Then we get to our level 6s and up. The main one is going to be MetalGarurumon X. It digivolves only from 1 from a MetalGarurumon. Otherwise, it's 4 memory over a level 5, 12,000 DP. When digivolving, unsuspends Digimon and it gains blocker until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then your turn, once per turn, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended, if MetalGarurumon or the option X Antibody is in its Digivolution cards, return all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level to their owner's hands. So that is fantastic to be able to clear any memory blocking rookies or any blockers with its bouncing effect. But more importantly, it lets you unsuspend, which is usually going to be the last check that you need to end your OTK and win the game. And if you don't, it is a blocker that is removing something as well, so this does prevent lethal a lot of the times, which is why we're running it at 3. Then we have one MetalGarurumon from X1. It has the when digivolving effect to gain 1 memory for every 4 cards in your hand. When attacking, if you have 8 or more cards in your hand and a Tamer in play, return one of your opponent's Digimon with an on-deletion effect to the bottom of its owner's deck. So that effect has finally become a bit relevant with a lot of stuff running around with on-deletion effects being meta. And then also being able to reduce your cost for every 4 in your hand synergizes really well with wanting 8 cards in your hand already anyways. A lot of times you will go into this guy for only 2 or 1 memory, which will help you go into MetalGarurumon X without passing turn, since MetalGarurumon X digivolves over this guy for only 1. Then we have Omnimon X. This is the new one introduced in BT10. This card is insane. Really fantastic to get rid of anything in case they played into it and have a lot of stuff with the same levels. When digivolving and when attacking once per turn, by placing 1 X Antibody or 1 level 6 card from this Digimon's sources at the bottom of its owner's deck, reveal all of your opponent's security cards, trash one of them, place the rest in your opponent's security stack face down, then your opponent shuffles their security stack. This is really important, especially if security control ends up becoming popular. You can get rid of their security bombs and then still get another check. And in the case where they're at only 1, this does give you lethal from 1 security without having to do a second check. So this card is really versatile. If you could find space for it at 2, I guess you could consider running it, but I think just because of the nature of it being level 7 and how much drawing you do, I think 1 is fine, and otherwise could end up being a little bit bricky since you're not going to go into this in every single matchup, but it has a lot of utility when it does come up. We're done with the Digimon, so let's look at our options. We have one Ice Wall here because this will win you games with how it lets you stall an extra turn, so you might as well run however many copies are allowed to be in your deck. Then we have a blue memory boost, so this helps with your consistency, and then you also get to spend it later for more memory to make sure you have enough to do your game winning plays. This card is invaluable for consistency. It's really great, and if it comes out of security, it gives you a lot of momentum. Then we have 3 Hammer Sparks. A lot of people immediately dismissed Hammer Spark because of the anti-synergy of decreasing your hand count in exchange for only 1 memory, but this card is amazing, and especially in this format where you need to be really fast, Hammer Spark is quite invaluable. It costs 0, but it gains you 1 memory, and in security it gains you 2. A lot of times you will literally only be 1 memory off from going into MetalGarurumon X for game because it is a 4-cost Digivolution if you're not seeing the X1 MetalGarurumon. So this will give you that 1 memory you need to be able to close out that game instead of passing turns to your opponent and hoping you survive 1 more turn. There is a little bit of anti-synergy there, but by the time that you are in that position where all you need is that 1 memory to be able to get game, trust me, you will already have more than enough in hand where 1 Hammer Spark or 2 Hammer Sparks down will not be a big deal. And by then, you probably don't need the security attack +1 inheritable 8 in hand off of Weregarurumon anyways. You just need that 1 extra check from MetalGarurumon. And finally, we have Cocytus Breath, just so we have some removal, some chance of getting rid of stuff on our field that is getting really annoying. So it's not the best removal in the game, but blue just traditionally does not have good removal because a lot of it just gives it back to your opponent. So this isn't the best answer to a lot of stuff, but sometimes you just need your opponent to not be able to attack for 1 more game, so it's better than nothing. Before we get to our tamers, let's look at the one option I forgot, which is one of the most important, X Antibody. I think this is non-negotiable at 3 copies because you always want to see this, since this is really important to the OTK. All its main effect is this lets you put it underneath your Digimon, and then its main thing we run it for is the when attacking inheritable, which is the Digimon can digivolve into a card with X Antibody and its traits in your hand for its Digivolution cost. So that is what is enabling the OTK there and why this card is invaluable. And then it's also a mini Hammer Spark in security, and then it adds itself to your hand, so it's pretty good if it gets stuck in there too. Our Tamers, we only have 4. We have 1 Davis because 1 is really all you want to see to be able to guarantee that 3 memory and get that extra search. After that, you don't really want to see it in your hand, so we're just running it there. And if it gets stuck in security, even better. And then we have a Cool Boy. It is 2 to play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon card with X Antibody and its traits, and 1 option card with X Antibody and its traits among them to your hand. So again, another searcher that could potentially grab 2, which is really important when we need 8 or more cards in hand for our effect. And then when one of your Digimon digivolves into a same level Digimon with X Antibody and its traits, you may suspend this tamer to gain 1 memory and draw 1. That is amazing. That is what gives you a lot of the gas in this deck, because if you go into Gabumon X with this on the field, you plus like crazy and get so many deep searches off of that if you're missing a piece. That is huge. This plus a Hammer Spark in hand, even just 1 Cool Boy plus a Hammer Spark in hand, guarantees you 3 memory for the turn if you're not being memory blocked or something like that. So that would be enough to go into Garurumon X when you were choked at 1 and then go into Weregarurumon to start doing your combo. This just gives so much power to X Antibody decks, and it's really non-negotiable. I think there's an argument at the very least that you can maybe make room by cutting it down to 2 and putting in an analog youth, because if you're missing your Weregarurumon promo or a base level 4 that isn't the Garurumon X, Cool Boy won't grab you those. It's gonna bottom deck some important pieces like that, while Analog Youth could get that. So I really do think this is gonna be the best deck going forward for the foreseeable meta, because like it just plays itself. You just hide in raising until you have everything, and you're not really worried about your opponent's board. Their only really bad matchups are maybe Armors, because they have Magnamon X that they could just sit on, but like you bounce so much of their stuff, it's fine. It's pretty even. If it's a bad matchup, it's not even one of their worst, so it's whatever. And then a really bad one would be Jesmon GX, because if they're on Gankumon, that stops you from bouncing their board, and then they also have all these blockers on the field. So like once that field is set up with Jesmon GX and Gankumon, it just feels miserable and you're not really able to do anything about it. So I think that's the only really 2 terrible matchups it has. Other than that, it goes even into everything else, or is really better than everything else. It's an amazing deck because it kind of just like does its own thing and just OTKs when it's ready. I definitely think if you haven't, this is a deck to watch out for and pick up if you've been interested in it for a while now. That's going to be the profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you run instead and any changes I could do to make the videos better. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember to stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.